Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Breaking Butterfly podcast. I am so grateful to have you guys here. Today's episode, I am joined by one of my best friends in the whole entire world. I am so excited for this conversation. Jackie, you guys may know her as Hood Winkler. You also probably know her from a previous episode we did together called Screaming in the Jungle, where we essentially talk about like the first time we met in Costa Rica and just had like a life-changing experience. And we just continue to have like life-changing experiences and so many like amazing breakthroughs, I feel, together, even though we don't live next to each other. Yeah, we get to like, I don't know. I feel like I'm like living life with you, but so separate, and our lives are so different, but we're like living it together. It's crazy. Like every time me and Jackie talk, we have like so many similarities. She's like a soulmate friend of mine. So I'm super happy to have her here. This is going to be kind of like a detox episode a little bit. We kind of just want to chat about a bunch of different topics that have been coming up for us. So yeah, I'm excited to dive in. And for those of you that don't know Jackie, do you want to give them just like a little intro, a little bit about you?
Heck yeah. Hi guys, I'm Jackie. I'm a manifestation coach. I love doing that and being that. I love to be outside. I love Maddie Maple. I love listening to music. I love dance. And I live my life hoping to connect lots of people back to their authentic selves and then helping them manifest. But their manifestations are almost like a side effect of connecting to their authentic selves. So that's my jam. That's what I do. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy you're here. Already, just what you said like the most basic thing ever. And I have like 8 different tangents that I want to go off, like just about that. Because I want to talk, I will, like, I know I just said this is like a detox episode, which usually means like it's not really about personal development. Like, it's not really like, here's 3 steps to manifest your dream life. It's just like us chatting. But I do want to share, we were just talking about this, Jackie and I, like a couple of weeks ago, how like Jackie is not a manifestation coach. Like, she really isn't. It's just the only way to like package it.
Mhm.
Okay, it's not the only way, but right now that feels like the most aligned way for her to just like package what she does. But the work you do is so much deeper. Can you like, I just want to start with like manifesting, and we'll get into like your latest manifestation, which is like your move and everything. Like, what does that actually mean to like connect to your authentic self, and why is that important to manifestation? Just to give people an idea of like your actual values around what you teach.
Yeah, 100%. So, manifestation is ultimately a game of creating a life that is fulfilling to you, right? Like, we're not manifesting things that we think are going to make our life worse. So, um,
Mhm.
authenticity plays a huge role in that, because if we are trying to manifest something that we think is going to fulfill us, but it's not actually something that's aligned with our authentic selves or what we want, it's not going to be fulfilling. So that's why I kind of stray away from a lot of like, oh, I want to manifest like going to Harvard or something when I grew up in a family that's really strict on my education, because I think a lot of those types of situations are a question of, well, is that something that you actually authentically want, or is that something that was kind of put into you, programmed into you as a desire? And a lot of us, like, authenticity is just the first step of manifestation, and oftentimes when we get authentic, we realize that we don't even want the lives that we like thought we wanted.
Yeah.
Like, you might, I don't know, like, I'm working with someone right now who like wanted a particular job, but then when I talk with her about what she actually likes, it's like something completely different, and I'm like, well, why aren't you just doing that? And it's kind
Mm.
of like we just get really caught up in manifestation on thinking that the things that we want are going to fulfill us and make us a certain way, when really it's like, well, no, what actually fulfills you and how can you do more of that right now?
Yeah.
Like, if you like going outside and like walking in nature, like, why, how, like, prioritize that. Just like do that shit right now. And when you do, the universe responds by making things really easy for you, giving you more opportunities to do what you want, giving you money to support you doing what you want. Um, It's sort of like the resistance is just released because you're following what lights you up and brings you joy. And yeah, that's like
Yeah.
how it works.
Yeah, I think like a lot of the people who are very specific manifestors, I very much like resonate with being a non-specific manifester where yeah, I'm just like, God, like give me what will make me happy. Like sometimes I don't even know. I'm just focusing on like the feeling. And I find that the people that are like more specific manifestors and are very like, they're the ones in your DMs like spamming you, like, please tell me how to make him text me. Please, like, how do I change my whole like I used to get all these crazy messages because I made a TikTok about manifesting changes to your physical appearance. But it
Oh,
was
yeah.
very much like, you know, when you focus on the things you love about yourself, you're going to be you are literally going to become more beautiful. Like people will see you as like gorgeous if you see yourself as gorgeous, and it's going to like enhance the beauty you already have, right? So it's talking about like absolutely you can change your physical appearance for like maybe a year, my DMs would get I don't know if have I ever told you this? I think we
Mm-mm.
have talked about this maybe. I don't know.
I don't think so.
But my DMs would just be full of like, how do I make myself look like Kendall Jenner? Like, how do I give myself like a nose job and like shave off, you know, like layers of my bone? I'm like, you guys, that was not the point of my
Yeah.
video at all, but it just like went viral. And what I was gonna say is the specificity of that and like the wanting it right now, it is like this instant gratification where it's the same as like shopping on Amazon or like having a substance high or something where like it makes you feel good in the moment, but then yeah, it doesn't like fulfill you at
Yeah.
all. And I think we're like so obsessed with the instant gratification. And that's why I feel like I wanted to like, I don't know, clarify what you actually do because you're not just like, oh, let me help you. Yeah, like manifest your soulmate. It's like, no, let me actually help you design your life to be like magical, you know? And it just goes so beyond like I think what people usually think manifestation is.
Yeah, 100%. And I think like
Yeah.
even on the point of manifesting your physical appearance, that's a great like example of what I'm talking about because we have so many examples of people who do manifest, quote unquote, by getting surgery, like shaving off tons of parts of their body and shaving down certain things or whatever, and they're still not happy afterward, which is like
Yeah.
what I mean when it's like you have to get clear on what you actually authentically are wanting, which is probably like to feel beautiful,
Mhm.
and like to be acknowledged for like from other people for being a beautiful person. And that's like the thing that's actually fulfilling. So that's what we work with like first, or else you're going to
Yeah.
get all your manifestations and you're going to be like, oh, and I still want to kill myself. So yeah.
No, literally, I share the craziest thing actually?
Yeah.
So, most of my followers know that like I've been on my Accutane journey, right? And I started Accutane in January, and just now, like this month, I feel like I've actually like seen like I've had like these waves of up and down. Um but my skin's like clear now. Like it's like actually clear. It's crazy. I feel so grateful. I've had like an amazing experience. And I like really struggled with my skin and like I would talk about it all the time. Like I couldn't even like pass a mirror without saying like, "Oh my god, I look so scary," or like, "Oh my god." And yeah, just I just felt like I looked like a monster, whatever. I could not get it out of my head. And I would look at myself and I'd be like, okay, once my skin is clear, like I genuinely don't have anything else about my body that I could complain about. Like I look at myself and I would think the only thing that's ugly about me is my skin. And once it's clear, like I would do anything for that. And I'm just now realizing like now my skin's clear. And so I can't complain about my skin. But I've been like Henry has been noticing that I keep saying like other things about my body now. And I'm like just making the connection now that it's because I'm not saying something about my skin. When in reality, like I do like my appearance, I look at myself and there really isn't like anything big. I think it is like the is it a habit or something, right? Where it's like, oh, now I'm not picking out like this part of my appearance. And now I've switched to like, oh my God, I'm getting rolls or like, oh my God, I have cellulite. I've never noticed that before, but I don't have anything else to pick at. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm just now
Yeah,
realizing.
absolutely. It's like, yeah, it's just like a mental habit, or like in some cases, it's a mental habit, I think, where you just kind of get like attached to a way of thinking. I
Yeah.
think in other cases, it's like a deeper, like belief thing. Like, I don't think for you it would be something like I'm not beautiful, but I could see it being just knowing you, I could see it being something like things aren't like they don't like feel right
Yeah.
because of I don't know how much you've shared about like OCD and stuff on here, but like that is such
Yeah.
an
No, we can
OCD like
totally
way
talk
of
about that.
being. Yeah, is like when you're just like, oh my God, there's something off. Like it doesn't feel like right. So you need to kind of find a reason for that instead of just being like, that's life. Life is never gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be something that's off about it.
Yeah.
And instead of making that like a problem to solve, just sort of being like, yeah, I'm like always gonna feel a little fucking weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I'm just gonna love and accept that.
Yeah. That's so true. I've never like thought about connecting it to like OCD tendencies at all.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so let's talk about your move. So me and Jackie, this is what I'm talking about. Like we always have these like parallels kind of. We both just moved like at the exact same time, somewhere completely new. I want you to share like your um experience like manifesting that and like share with everyone like how specific you were and all of that stuff because I think it's like really fascinating.
Yeah, I'm like gonna get the list out just so you guys can see like how specific it was because this shit is crazy.
Yeah.
So I like this is kind of what I'm this is actually a good example of how I teach manifestation is like we want things, but then we have background patterns that are like going on that are usually like something unresolved, sometimes from childhood, that like prevent us from getting the manifestations. So when I was little, I kind of had like a traumatic, a moving experience where I like felt like I lost my home. And then all throughout the rest of my life, I kind of never felt like I had like a home base or a place that was mine, quote unquote. So in my adulthood, I got so into traveling and I was just constantly traveling one country to the next, one place to the next, living out of a suitcase, like never had like I don't know, like stable things of my own, like bedding and like candles and shit. Like I just had like stuff to work, like a laptop, clothes, and jewelry, and that's basically it. Um, and for years, I was asking the universe for a stable place to live. I was just so tired of not having a stable place to live. And it was interesting because I kept asking for it, like an apartment or a house was on my manifestation list for years with all of the specific stuff. But I would always act because I was still sort of like acting out this old pattern. I would always act not in alignment with my list. Like I would sort of
Mm,
look at places and then I would back out last minute, or I would like decide on a place to live and then I'd buy a ticket to another place and be like, never mind.
mm,
And then right before Envision this year, actually, I like was just like, I'm done. Because I started dating someone that I kind of liked abroad, and then was like, oh, so I'm basically going from place to place and not forming like any strong bonds, any strong connections, and that's like a way to protect me from that feeling of loss that I experienced like a long time ago.
mm.
So finally I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm done. Like I'm ready to move to a place. And I like had my list and I took it and it was so specific. Like I'll read it. I feel like I should read it because it's like hella
Please read it because I've never heard anything so
okay.
specific.
My like home that I was manifesting is I wanted a sense of home within and without myself, an aligned place to live. I didn't know where the like place or town would be, not even like what country because I was like moving all over the world.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be within my budget. I either wanted to live alone or with aligned roommates that are good friends and compatible living mates. I wanted it 30 minutes from everything, either by car, walk, public transport. Locally, I needed ecstatic dance, contra dance, ballet class, hot yoga, fiber arts circles, art galleries, breath work, ceremony cacao, sound baths, authentic relating circles, swing dance, folk dance. It needed to have great boutiques, thrifting, and shops, excellent restaurants. I wanted a potable spring near my house,
This is the one that gets me.
you know, like
I
where
actually don't
water.
even I don't even know what potable means, if I'm being
It's
completely
it's like
honest.
it's like drinkable water. Like I
Okay,
wanted
that's what
like
I
a
thought.
spring that comes up out of the ground where you could just drink the water without filtering it. Easy access to abundant nature, a local farmers market. The weather needed to be mild, not wet all the time, a good amount of sun. Um, Holy shit, it needed genuine people. It needed to feel calm, stable, not chaotic, expansive, luxurious, safe, accessible, grounding, private. I needed a place that has lots of natural light. It needed to be a good astrocartography placement on my chart.
Mhm, mhm.
um, I needed an oven, a good fridge, a Waldorf school nearby in case I stay here and have kids, close to hiking and swimming, an hour from an airport, a yard with trees, and a space to grow food. So there was a lot there.
And I don't know, at any point, did you feel nervous about having that list? Like, do you ever feel like, does this place actually exist? Or were you always confident that it existed?
No, I was always like, it has to exist somewhere. Like there's somewhere on earth where this is gonna like be a thing. Also, I was already pretty like open-minded about it because all of those things on the list are really close to where I used to live in Western Mass.
Mm,
It's just that Western Mass was cold and
mm.
like very, very cold. So that was the only thing. So I was like, okay, I think it exists. It's also similar to Asheville, North Carolina, which I lived in. So I had like examples of it being real.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
But, like,
yeah, and
what if there, like, wasn't a Waldorf school
oh, I
to
wouldn't
like,
have
where you
yeah,
went?
no, I wouldn't have accepted it.
That's
Yeah, like, my
crazy.
kids are going to Waldorf. If I, like, have kids here, they have to go to Waldorf.
Okay, and here's the craziest part, you guys, like, and this is what I mean that Jackie's, like, a soulmate friend, like, it's blows my mind how similar we are. Guys, do you remember when I moved to Grass Valley and it was, like, the best time of my life? Actually, if you remember this, it was because you've been here since the beginning. Because I actually started my business the first time I ever went to Grass Valley. It was, like, that month I like started my business. So like 4 years ago, and I like fell in love with it. I post about it all the time, posted in Grass Valley. Always said that like that was my favorite place in the world. Just everybody just ask Jackie where she moved. Where did you move?
Grass Valley. Yeah, I moved to Grass Valley.
Like
Um,
what?
no, I know. And Maddie was the first person who put me on to Grass Valley. Like, you were the first person who ever said those words to me. And I was
Yeah.
just like, okay, we're really similar. Like, I'd probably vibe with it. And then my other best friend Max had been there, and I asked him about it, and he was like, I could like spiritually see you in Grass Valley.
Yeah.
And then I put my list into ChatGPT. And
Yeah.
ChatGPT literally, I was like, what place in the US has all of these things? And it came up with like 3 places. It was Grass Valley, I think it was Taos, New Mexico, and like Asheville, North Carolina. And I'd already lived in Asheville and hated it. And didn't want to live in New Mexico because it wasn't the right kind of nature. And then I looked up here and was like, well, what are the odds? And after Envision, came here to visit. The second that I drove into the town, I like stepped out of the car, kind of like you, Maddie, and was just like, yep, I'm going to live here.
Yeah.
Um, there was like nothing on the market to rent. But I had 2 houses that I thought could be a possibility. I went to the local grocery store and bought like actually this plate, like a bunch of these plates, and they're like handmade and hella they were kind of like expensive, and I just bought a bunch of them, and I was like, okay, universe, I can't put these in my fucking suitcase. Like they're either going in the trash or they're going in the cabinet of a house that I rent while I'm here for 4 days, and I'm gonna find a place and I'm gonna sign the lease. And the first house I looked at is the house I'm sitting in right now. And that's how it happened.
It's fucking crazy.
I
I'm
know.
obsessed. Like
Yeah. It was,
yeah, I want to come so bad.
how did your move go? I feel like we haven't even talked about your move.
Yeah. So what do I even want to say about it? I feel like it was just like the most seamless, effortless move ever. Like I was like never like people think moving is so stressful and there was not one moment where I didn't just feel like euphoric and like excited and like the whole moving process and packing, like I just felt so confident. I did it mostly myself, and then I just like hired some TaskRabbits on the last day to just like put everything in the truck. And I don't know, there's just like never a moment. Like I was obviously really sad to leave Salt Lake City. Um, like really sad. Like I sobbed about it multiple times. Like ugly sob. Like I was so heartbroken, but I can't remember who, like if I said this on the podcast or I was just saying it to someone, like there was never a moment where it was the type of sadness where I like considered not leaving. Like I just
Mm.
knew that I was meant to be in Vegas, and me and Jackie were talking about this. Like you were talking about driving around Grass Valley, and like it didn't feel new almost. Like it just kind of felt like normal. And because you probably like you feel like you lived here in a different timeline, or it's just like you were meant to be here, so your soul was already like, I don't know, like just prepared for it. And yeah, that's just how it felt. Like I got to Vegas and I wasn't like, oh my God, like I don't know the streets here. I need to find like my nearest grocery store. I need to do this. I need to do that. Like I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm here. Like it's just so, it felt so natural, I think. Um, but yeah, like finding the actual house, yeah, it also just was so easy. I just was like on Zillow almost every single day, and I would just like favorite the ones that I liked. And then me and Henry, like every couple nights, we'd sit on FaceTime and like share our screen and like share the houses. And this one, as soon as we saw it and we were like looking through the photos, we were just like, that's our house, 100%. The only unfortunate part was that it wasn't ready yet. So that
Mm.
meant we were just like playing the waiting game, and we were just like sitting there waiting for the phone to ring, essentially. So then we were like going to move on the 6th, and then they pushed the date to the 12th. And then on the morning of the 6th, they called us and they're like, it's ready. Like, you can come move in. So then
Sick.
I am so impatient and so impulsive. Like, I could have just waited till the 12th, like we had planned. And I was like, no, actually, I'm going to move like right now. And like 3 days later, I just like moved. I could not wait. Henry couldn't even be there. Like, Henry didn't even like help me move. And I chose, it was not his fault. He, like, I knew that he had a work thing that weekend. But I was like so impatient. And that's why I'm saying like it was not even like stressful. I was just like, let's go. And so I packed everything up and I drove down. And yeah, we didn't even care that like it wasn't ready or anything. We were gonna move in without even seeing the house in person. We were just
Wow.
like, yeah, we just like knew this was the house. And like of course we had kind of doubts. We're like, what if it has like bad energy, or like we want to drive around the neighborhood or whatever. But we were so confident that it was our house that I was like planning before we even signed the paperwork. I was looking at the what do you call
Floor
it? Like
plan. I feel like you sent me the floor plan.
no, like literally, I'm like I was so excited about the floor plan. Um, and I was like planning decor and like putting stuff in my Amazon cart like 2 weeks before we were even there, and like we hadn't even signed the papers or anything. Like I just knew it was mine. So yeah, and I've never been happier.
Oh
Like
my god.
well, okay, I just did this podcast with my friend, and she is like a health specialist, and we were talking about mold and how a lot of people have like mold in their house and it makes them really sick. And I don't think that I had mold. I think that I was like struggling with my skin, and I was like struggling with some other like shadows and things, and like my health. Like I think I was struggling just, I don't know if it was mold, but she was telling me about it and like how it can make you like anxious and depressed and like fatigued,
Yeah.
which are all the things that I was feeling for like a whole year. And then I connected the dots of like, oh my God, I was in that apartment for that year that I didn't feel good. And as soon as I moved here, Jackie, I feel like I'm on crack. Like I
Interesting.
literally wake up every morning. I've been running. I've been running. What the fuck? Like, I don't know. That's just like, yeah, I've taken on like multiple other like
Hmm.
responsibilities now. I wake up every single morning feeling so motivated, so inspired, so like myself. And it could just be an energy thing. Like, I mean, I was like depressed in Utah when growing up. So it might just be a Utah thing. Oops,
Yeah.
sorry, I just punched my microphone. I don't know if that was loud. Um, it could have just been a Utah thing, but I'm also like
No, I think there's like something to it. Like you said,
I
it's
don't
either
know.
it could be it could be either, it could be both. Mold is like a real fucking thing though. When I lived in Mexico, I was like on some like borderline schizo shit, and I think it was because of the mold. Because it was the
Yeah.
first thing you smelled when you walked in the house was mold. Like right, you could smell it instantly.
Oh,
It was
100% then.
oh yeah,
One
no, and I was literally like I was going through a lot. Give like to put it into perspective, I was going through a lot, but in hindsight, I was like, I don't think I was going through enough to like get to that point. You know?
Jackie, that's exactly how I feel. I look back at, like, what I was going through, and I was like, it was hard, but I was, like, depressed, and that's not, like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have been feeling like that, and that's why I felt so confused this past year. I'm, like, feeling like, what was wrong with me?
Yeah.
I
Who
don't
knows?
know.
Well, now you live in a dry place, so
I live
never
a
have to
very
worry
dry
about that again.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So funny. Okay, so you're talking about ChatGPT and how you put everything you wanted into ChatGPT to,
Yes.
like, help you. Guys, I've never seen anyone use ChatGPT like Jackie uses ChatGPT. It's fucking hilarious. Um, tell us about it. I want Jackie to share with you guys, like, what she uses it for, because I've been trying to use it more now. Um, and it's super, super helpful.
It's like fascinating.
But I think a
Well,
lot of people don't really know, like, what to use it for, like, how to really utilize, like, what it can do for them.
okay, yeah. So I used to use it only for business until I started like dating this guy in Europe who was very like entrepreneurial techie. Like that was kind of his vibe, which is funny because I'm not like that at all. Um, but he used to use it like Google. Like
Mm,
he would just like ask it anything. And that was the first time that I ever saw someone do that. And then I was like, oh, that's kind of I mean, you have to make sure that you're checking your sources about anything kind of important because it's not always accurate. But he was using it like Google. He would just be like, I don't know. Like you just ask it anything. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. So I'm gonna start doing that. So that's kind of how I use it is like anytime that I have a question that I don't want to gather a lot of information about myself, I just ask ChatGPT. Um, I'm like laughing at when we were at Envision and like
the
I
medicine?
yeah, the medicine thing. Can I talk about that?
Yes,
Okay, so
please.
when we were all like getting sick in Envision, because like Envision was like a cesspool this year,
Man.
south-wise, respectfully. But everybody had norovirus and it was really scary. And like Maddie started not feeling well, so we went to the med tent and like they gave her this. She was like, "Okay, this is what's going on," and they just gave her this pill, and she was having like, stomach problems. And then when she
Yeah.
looked at, like, we were like, "What is this?"
I literally asked for an anti-diarrheal. Like, it wasn't even like, "Oh, I was feeling, like, really sick." It's like, I wanted something
Yeah,
to stop the runs, like, the most like Pepto. I wanted Pepto.
Pepto Bismol. And like they gave us this weird pill, and we didn't know what it was, so I looked it up on ChatGPT. And my ChatGPT before was programmed. I like wish I had it. I might actually have it.
You
My
should. Doesn't
ChatGPT
it
was
save everything?
programmed to fuck, where is it? It was programmed to talk to me like the entrepreneur James Wedmore because I like the way that James like talks. He's kind of like my fake dad. Um so I asked it, I'm like looking for it as I'm talking. I asked it for like, okay, what pill did they just give Maddie? And it like talked to me like James Wedmore. It was like, ever felt a little kooky? They just gave you an antipsychotic. Like, they literally gave her like something for people who were like in psychosis. And it was just mad funny. So I use it for everything.
I wish that you
um
had what it said because it listed, like, 10 different symptoms, like, "This medication is great for," and it did say, like, gas, bloating, but then, yeah, it was, like, anxiety, psychosis, bipolar. I'm like, "What is" just, like, it cured everything. Like, it
yeah,
literally said it cured, like, a dozen things.
it literally cured everything. Fuck.
Yeah,
I like
it was
know
so
I have it,
funny.
but I don't.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, so basically I use ChatGPT for like lots of things. Like let's see. I use it for work in terms of coming up with names for stuff that I don't want to name. I use it for meal plans, which is lit.
I
I'll
was
literally be
just
like,
thinking about that.
yeah, I was like, because I'm on the Candida cleanse. So I'm like, okay, I'm on the Candida cleanse. Here's what's in my fridge. Like, make me a meal plan with recipes for the week. Um, the other one, like, I'm looking at this modest dressing in heat. I literally was like, this is my question. How did women in the olden days dress modestly but not overheat during hot weather? What clothing items or ways of wearing clothes should I look for? And it gave me like this whole, and then I was like, great. What specifically should I look for in a vintage clothing shop? Can you make me a shopping list? And then it made me a whole shopping list of like, you should be looking for cotton and muslin dresses that are like flowy and airy with this cut and this like style. I use it for everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like I like went on a date with this guy and I wanted to know his birth year so I could look him up. So I could look up his astrology.
Yeah.
And I was like, if someone's turning 35 this Sunday, what's their birthday? It's just like I do it when I don't want to think and I
Yeah.
want a robot to think for me. So I use it for everything.
And does it scare you? Like,
It does scare me.
yeah, like some people are like, AI is going to take over, it's going to take all our jobs, like it's going to ruin our world. And then other people are like, this is only going to like benefit the human race.
hmm
Like, what do you,
Um, I think that that's something that's like time will tell.
yeah,
It is here though. Like it's here. It's probably here to stay until something happens. But like I think like AI has progressed so rapidly in the past 5 years alone. Um, that like there's just so much that we don't know about it, basically. I One of my friends actually, who's much more into this than I am, put it in this way where it was like AI basically does intelligence natural selection on like a much faster scale than humans do. So he
mm,
kind of was like, imagine you prompting AI to like cure a disease, and there's like five different answers of it curing the disease, and one of them is like a Nobel Prize winning correct answer. Then it chooses that and naturally replicates its intelligence based on that option. So it's kind of like it like gives a lot of opportunity for AI to kind of be infinitely maybe smarter than 99% of people on Earth.
yeah,
So it's definitely scary,
yeah,
but who knows? Life is scary.
yeah. I
It's
don't
out
know.
there. It's out of my hands.
For me, I think it could actually, like one thought I had, this is obviously just like a very like small thought that I had, is like, okay, people that are worried that's going to take people's jobs, I actually could find, I could see like paying for a human to actually be more of a premium and to be like a luxury experience because there are some jobs where we're going to want humans more than robots or like
100%.
AI. Like think about a doctor. It could be like, okay, you could either get an AI appointment and try to like figure out, what's going on with your body for like $100, or you could pay $500 and talk to an actual human that sees experiences and can talk with you and like empathize. Like that feels almost like a more luxury experience than we'd actually pay humans more, which could somehow be beneficial. I don't know.
No, I
Like,
know what you mean. I've actually, sorry, go on. I cut you off.
you go, you go.
I was just gonna say, I think about that in terms of like it could eliminate. Yeah, it'll definitely eliminate a lot of jobs, like for sure. But it'll
Yeah.
also eliminate a lot of jobs that like people don't want to
Don't need
do.
to be doing. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that like is a waste of time, and they can. I always thought of like, okay, well, now that somebody is doing that job, you can put your time towards like making art and like being
yeah.
a part of your community and like actual face to face human connection instead of like I don't know, tinkering with some shit for like 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, I think
yeah.
it's gonna, like, take some creativity to create the new jobs, but I feel like, yeah, we could almost create better jobs, and AI is just, like, helping just do the things that we don't wanna do or don't have to do. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of jobs that are kind of, like, unnecessary almost. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, like, time wasters.
It's like people do them because it's a job and not because they actually want to do it, and they'd much rather do something else.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like what I'm thinking of is like, I don't know. Uh I want to preface this by saying there's no like bad jobs, because it really does just come down to you living a life that feels like purposeful and good for you. But like, I don't know, say you're working, like I used to work a janitorial job and I was like, I don't fuck with being a janitor, personally.
Mhm.
But I did it for the money. And um those are types of situations where like if someone is like fuck yes, like it's a full body yes to being a janitor, like please go be a janitor, and there's probably still going to be at least one job for you even though AI is doing it or something.
Yeah.
But for the other people who don't feel that way, you can go like, I don't know, be a singer or something. Like whatever you wanted to
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. One thing
Yeah.
that I also thought was hilarious was I, like, asked you, like, how you talk to your ChatGPT. I'm like, "Are you, like, polite? Like, do you say, like, please and thank you?" And you were like I don't know, what did you even say to me?
I was like, I always, which is funny because I didn't used to say please. I would actually kind of take my like repressed anger out on ChatGPT, where I was like, get it right. But then I don't know. Then I was like, well, it is getting pretty smart. Like maybe I should be like, thanks, bestie. So now I do that. Now I'm just like, I have a question for ChatGPT. I'm like, could you please, if you have time, figure this out for me?
Sorry to
But like, no
bother
pressure.
you, but when
I'd
you
be like,
have a
no pressure if
chance.
you don't. Like, I know you're like really smart and busy. Just in case it gains sentience and then remembers me as the nice one.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said. You're like,
Yeah.
"I wanna be
Like,
on its good side just in case, like,
just in
things go
case.
too far."
Yeah.
They know me as the one that has good manners. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
was like, do I need to say thank you? Because it really does feel like a human being, like, it feels that smart that I was, like had to even question, like, should I be saying thank you to my ChatGPT? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
which is
such a
crazy.
trippy thing.
I know. That's so, yeah, we're like really we're about to live in some like interesting times for sure.
Yeah.
They're interesting.
I
But yeah,
actually feel like
sorry, go on.
no, you go.
I was gonna say something completely meaningless. So please you go.
I don't think mine was completely meaningless, but I don't remember what it was. Oh, I was gonna say, you know how, like, people that were born in the, like I don't know, how old is, like, an old person, I guess, is something we could ask ChatGPT. Like, a person in their 80s, what year were they born in? Like,
Jesus Christ, I'm so
the
bad at math.
40s? The 40s,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the 40s, yeah.
So someone that was born in the literal 1940s, having even just, like, a touch screen phone is crazy to them,
Yeah.
right? Like, that should be mind-blowing, but it's kind of normal to them. Like, it's still crazy, but they're not like, "Oh my god," because it naturally progressed, right? It's not like it was an overnight thing. It's like you get a little bit better technology, a little bit better, and it's so gradual that we aren't, like, as humans, like, really freaking out. And I feel like AI hasn't been getting the freak out that it should. Like, if you told me what AI was when I was, like, 13, I would have been like, there's no way you could create that. Like, there's no
Yeah,
way that would exist, and now it does. But it's, like, kinda normal because we've been, like, gradually brought into it, and I feel like
totally.
it's not getting, like, the proper obviously, it's, like, talk of the town, like, everyone's talking about AI, but no one's like, "What the fuck? How is this even working?"
Yeah. No,
We're
I
just like,
know.
"Oh, this exists now." So then you think, "Okay, in 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, when my kids are, like, my age, what is gonna exist that we're just kinda like, "This exists now, no big deal."
Yeah. Well, I
I
feel
don't
like that's when humans are gonna like I love her like, let's have a casual conversation. Um and like at that point in humanity's evolution, I feel like people are gonna be just like kind of cyborgy. Like it's gonna be like I really do think that when my kids are like 30, they're gonna have the option to like we will be living amongst robots type deal. Like as they are like other beings. Or we'll be in the Matrix. So who knows?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
I don't know.
okay, my like take on it, um, which I feel like I didn't inherit this from my doomsday mom, but I've like thought a lot about this because of my doomsday mom. is that humanity is going to want to like split. Like there's going to be people who are like, no, I want to just like leave all of this behind and like be more self-sufficient and live with like other people kind of in like more tribal settings. And then there's
Yeah.
going to be people who are like, I want to like fuse with the robot. Like I want Neuralink. I want it like put in my brain, you know, like I want to like see, I want the fucking Apple Vision Pro goggles on me all the time. Like there's going to be those people. And then there's going to be people who are just like, no thanks. I want to like lay in the river all day and like, screw you guys. We're coming up with like a new currency and like way of doing things. Um, and
Which
I
side would you
honestly,
be on?
yeah, like I honestly don't think that they're gonna like bother each other because both are like chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're chilling.
Which side would
Also,
you
like
choose?
I would choose the nature side 1000%.
Yeah, I
But
figured.
yeah, it's not like the Apple Vision Pro people. I'm saying this like it's history. It's not like the Apple Vision Pro people are going to like be wanting to take over the nature because I feel like you'll just have a whole other world, like a digital world that you live in.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't fuck with it. Like you could live in like a shoebox sized place and be like, I live in a mansion because you like are seeing a mansion with your eyes.
Yeah.
Because you're like, it's like digitally projected. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, 100% makes
Yeah.
sense. It's very much like, there's like a movie I've watched, I don't know which one it is, it might be like Ready Player One.
I think it's that one.
Yeah, where they're like all have like the headsets and they're just like in the game world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
100%. We're already kind of
Hmm.
there.
Yeah, a lot of people have like the VR
I know VR is
stuff.
crazy.
VR is
But
crazy. I've
yeah,
never done it.
AI is like insane, and I definitely do use it a lot. Like I ask it mad questions, and I feel like this is a good segue to our next point. But I literally asked it like I was having a panic attack the other day, and I asked it. I had to deal with a highly emotionally manipulative person today while I handled like why did I say it like this? It was at 2 a.m. I said while I handled the situation gracefully, my nervous system is absolutely fried, and I am so anxious. I feel like I keep shaking and jolting awake. What should I do? And it gave me this whole thing. It was like comfort. It was like wrap yourself in a cozy blanket, shake and scream.
See, how is it that smart?
Yeah,
Like, go
no, it's
off.
like connect with your body, talk it out. Give
Well,
yourself
wait,
permission to feel whatever you're feeling is what it said.
what was the other thing you asked? Oh, about your birthday or about how old you are?
Oh yeah, I was like also having a. This was like probably a month or two ago, and I was having like a panic attack, and I forgot. Like I forgot how old I was. I forgot how old I was. Like I was just really rattled and like spacey, and I was like, "Wait, fuck, am I like 25 or 26?" And I couldn't remember. And then I put it in. I was like, "If I was born May 16th, 1997, how old I am? How old am I?" And it was like, "You're 26." And I was like, "Cool, I have to delete that."
That is
Because
the
if I ever like look at that again, I'm going to be embarrassed.
that is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm dead. But yeah, going back to the other one. Okay, you're having a panic attack because you just had to deal with someone crazy and you're feeling a little shaken up. Me and Jackie
Yeah.
wanted to finish this podcast off by like talking about dating a little bit and like what we think are like red flags when we're dating someone. Obviously, I'm not dating, like I'm still with my boyfriend, but we want to talk about like red flags. Um and our red flags.
Mhm.
And yeah, Jackie recently has had an experience where there are like some slight red flags. I'll honestly just like let you dive into it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, I don't really want to talk like specifically about the situation because it was very nuanced. But I definitely have things that are red flags for me when I see in people, and I'm like, I don't think that this is going a good direction.
Yeah.
So the first one, what is the first one? Um, Honestly, the first one is when people rush into things too quickly, which is also my red flag. Which is like why I know it's a red flag. It's because I used to do this and I sometimes still do this. But if I meet someone and they're just like, "Yeah, I'm obsessed with you. You're my wife. Like, love you so much. Like I know this is it." I'm like, how do you know this is it? We just met. You don't know me. Like that's such a
Yeah.
red flag. Like I could be a serial killer, and you're just like, oh my god, I love you, Jackie. Like you're incredible. And even though I know I'm not, obviously, I'm just like interesting how quickly you rushed into like a situation with someone that you don't know at all.
Yeah.
Um, other red
Sometimes that
flags.
also works. Like you hear about the people who have like, yeah, they like literally got married the next month and they've been together for like 35 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that definitely does happen. I feel like for me, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Max and I have something called the Herald effect. And the Herald effect happens every time I start dating someone. And it's that it's like when I meet someone, they seem like incredible, like an angel. Like there's like a herald around their head, like a halo. And then like I
Mm,
find out that that's not the case. And it's always because it happens too quickly.
yeah, that makes sense. I think like the
Yeah,
situation is like it really depends on like the situation.
totally.
If it's something that like you're doing over and over, like it's a pattern, or if it's really like so I think some of the experiences, like I was saying, are like these like one-off experiences where like it never happens, but it just like yeah, it just happened to them. I was like watching 90 Day Fiance, and one of the couples that I thought absolutely was not going to last because I think they had only spent like 3 days together in person, and then they got married. 3
Yeah.
days together in person, never like nothing. And they're still together, they have kids, like happy as can be.
What?
Yeah. And then there's other couples where I'm like, "Oh my god, these people are gonna be together forever." Like their relationship, they took it so slow, they were so mature, they never fought, and then they like ended up I don't know, you just like never know.
That's
But
true. I feel like you never know.
you really
Um,
never know. But anyway, yeah.
um,
There was one you said earlier, and I can't remember what it was.
was it the like pointing out your wounds thing? Like pointing out your insecurities?
No, it was a really good one.
Getting too deep and it was inappropriate?
No.
Oh, wait,
All of these are
emotionally.
good ones.
Yeah. um, I don't know. Okay, what are other I don't know, what are some for you? Let me think.
Oh, I remember. I remember.
Yeah.
It's the wife thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so when people like have a lot of relationships behind them, when if you meet someone and they have a lot of relationships behind them where the other person won't talk to them. Not that
Yeah.
they don't talk, that's like different. That's kind of just like, okay, we grew apart. But if you meet someone and like there's like 2 to 5 people behind them that will not speak to them, that is a red flag. Like
Yeah.
there's that saying, what is it? It's like oh, it's like a weird horse saying, but I can only think of the moral of the saying, which is basically like if one person calls you an asshole, you're not an asshole. If another person calls you an asshole, you might be an asshole. And if a third person calls you an asshole, then you're definitely an asshole.
Yeah.
So I kind
It's
of
like
feel that
you
way.
are the common denominator.
Yeah, like if you have just a string of situations and like people aren't talking to you, like you're 100% the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like someone that I know and like they always have like a falling out with someone and by like the fifth one, you're not like you know that they're the problem because there's no one else like having that many falling outs over and over and over and over and over. Yeah, we
Yes.
just call it like the common denominator. Um, yeah, I think that one even a lot of people say that a red flag is like how someone treats their mom. Like if you
Mhm.
don't treat your or like just your parents in general or like elders, I guess, like if you're not respectful, they're probably not going to respect you. And I feel like that was should have been a red flag from my first relationship. He's just like not at that time like at that time in his life, he was like not very respectful. I just like didn't see any issue with it
Mm.
whatsoever. Honestly, being rude
Yeah.
in general, like, oh my god, I was just watching this How I Met Your Mother episode last night, and it's this episode where he goes on a date with this girl. She's like super pretty. He really likes her, all this stuff, but she's just like mean to the waiter. Like the waiter knocks someone like something over, and she's like yelling at him, and it's like you better give us like a free appetizer, blah blah blah. And he was like, in that moment, I knew like I would never see this woman again, just from like a simple like how they take out their anger on like a service provider, a waiter, an Uber.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like one of the big red flags I had when I was dating like 2 years ago was I had someone that was, like, planning everything for me, and I, like, loved it. And Jackie was kinda, like, sharing that she had this experience too, right? When this guy, like, wants to do everything for you and, like, plan all the dates and plan all the things, and you're like, "Oh my god," like, they're so in their masculine, right? And it at first is seen as, like, very attractive, and it should be, like, a green flag, but if it's, like, too controlling, it's actually, like, a red flag for me because I, like yeah, I was dating someone and he, like, wanted to take care of everything, and it was, like, so sweet, and I do think it was out of, like, really, really good intention, but then I feel like they kinda wanted to control everything, like,
Mm.
what I ate and how I drank and, like, my lifestyle and, like, what I was doing, and it just turned into, like, too controlling, you
Yeah,
know?
I feel like the difference is if they ask you your preferences. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, if they're asking you, "Well, like, what do you want, and let me do it for you," that's
yeah,
one thing, but if they're just like, "I am doing what I want for you,"
yeah.
that's when it's, like, weird.
Well, the experience I had, I really think it was good intention because, like, they just wanted me to be healthy, but they would, like, send me an email with, like, links to all the, like, supplements I should take, and I was like yeah, it was I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, well, because it's funny that you say that because I feel like that was something that also came up recently for me. It's like it is coming from a place of good intention, but it's inherently belittling when someone
Mhm.
does that for you because it makes it seem like they need to or they're trying to or it makes you feel like they think that you need to be saved. That
Yeah,
like there's something kind of like wrong with you or the way that you are and that they just rather you like improve instead of be the version of yourself that you are now. So it kind of makes you feel inherently insecure because you're like, oh, so like I guess you just don't
that's
like me the
definitely
way
what
that
it was.
I am.
Definitely what it was because, like,
Yeah.
yeah, now that I'm saying it out loud, it really there was no bad intention. Like, in any other situation, I think that wouldn't have been, like, that weird. Like, if you and I had, like, a conversation about health, and then I sent you, like, some of my favorite links of, like, "Oh, you should check these out," like, that's not that weird, is it?
No, and
I don't think it is.
especially if you're like asking for it though. Like if you're like genuinely like,
Yeah,
"Oh yeah, I'm curious."
but I wasn't asking for it, and I think I already felt like I was going through a phase in my life where I was kinda going through, like, my little party phase, and, like, I was traveling, going all to all these festivals and, like, exploring my singleness, and it was just, like, a very different chapter in my life, and yeah, it was just he wanted me to be in, like, a different chapter
Mm.
of my
Yeah,
life,
which
which is yeah,
sorry, go on.
which is where, like, I love Henry so much, like, he really yeah, he doesn't want me to be different at all, like, at all. Like, even if I, like, wanna go out and drink or something, like, he does not drink, he'll drop me off and pick me up. Like, he won't judge me, like, he just and he won't give me any advice unless I ask him, and he makes like, anytime well, he also know like, he does this because I'll get mad if he gives me advice and I don't want it. But, like, now he'll, like, ask me, you know? He'll like, if I express something to him, he'll be like, "Do you want help? Do you want solutions, or do you want me to just listen?" And I'm like, "I just want you to listen." Yeah, so that like, he really makes sure that I ask for it, but I think that's always why I've loved Henry so much is, like, he really wants me to be exactly as I am, even if it's, like, not if I'm not being my best self, he just understands, like, I have to just go through it
Mm.
myself, you know?
Yeah. Because he
Yeah.
like prefers you as you are,
Yeah.
which is what love is. It's when you're like I think that a lot of us it's really interesting how we kind of think that loving we think it's like normal in our relationships with other people to want like the best for them, but that's our definition of the best for them, which isn't
Yeah.
necessary. That's inherently a little bit like selfish, and it's like you're not respecting them and their process and where they're at. So it's not
Yeah.
actually love. You like an idea of what they could be much more than you actually like who they actually are.
Yeah.
Um,
And also, I feel like
yeah.
there's times that you want someone to be different because it benefits you actually more than it benefits them. Like, for a long time, I wanted Henry to do like, something else with his career because I was doing something so, like, abstract with my career, and I wanted us to be on the same page so that we could, like, travel together or like whatever. I wanted him to be like this like entrepreneur like me when that is just not him at all. And now he has the most aligned career ever, like living his best life, doing like his best work. And like he knew that like the path I was trying to put him down wasn't for him. But I thought it would be like best for him, but I kind of thought it would like be best for me and my lifestyle for him to
Yeah.
be similar. You know what I mean?
Of course, even when you're trying to like help some, like if we're talking about this on a really deep level, like say someone's struggling with like addiction or alcoholism or something and you're trying to help them, a lot of the reason why is it's because you're trying to alleviate your pain that you
Yeah,
feel about their situation.
totally.
You know, when it's like they're just doing what they're going to do. Like and you're like kind of just it's like almost like you don't even love them. Like I it's hard to say that because a lot of people are like, "Oh no, but I genuinely do love them." And I think on some level you do, but
It's
wouldn't you like
skewed because of like
accept
your desires.
them? Yeah, like wouldn't you accept them just the way that they are? Like isn't that what love is and not like trying to change them? I don't know.
Yeah.
Um you.
I think sometimes both exist. Like they do
Yeah.
genuinely love them, but like their own ego is getting in the way. And if their own ego got out of the way, they could accept them.
Mm.
But they're like, yeah, they're kind of like battling it. I get that. Yeah, I think that's actually one of like the most common questions that come up with my clients because a lot of my clients go through like such massive transformation as I'm sure yours do from like, you know, even just like with confidence, like being in such a dark place, like talking bad about yourself, hating yourself, and then shifting into a place where you like, yeah, are in alignment, obsessed with what you do, like feel so good about yourself, like that kind of shift in your identity. And when your eyes open that much and you have like an awakening like that, you want to put everyone that you love through that same awakening. And so, yeah, in my group program, like that's a lot of times we have that conversation. Probably in every single group, we end up having that conversation on a session of like, well, my boyfriend is not on the same path. My boyfriend's not spiritual, or my mom or my best friend. And they keep like talking bad about themselves. And like, I don't want to be a part of that anymore. How do I get them to stop talking bad about themselves? And I'm like, you can't. Like, you
Yeah.
literally can't. But I think that's actually like such a like super common experience is like, yeah, how can I get this person to change?
Yeah, 100%. It's so interesting. Love is so fascinating.
Love is so fascinating.
It really is.
Yeah.
I feel
Well, I
like
love this.
I know. Is it an hour? Is that how much time we have?
Yeah. Well, transparency, I forgot I have a um OBGYN appointment. And I'm kind of scared. I don't want to
Why?
go. I don't know. I'm just scared. Well, okay. Is this weird to talk about on the podcast?
I don't know. I feel like no.
I don't think it's weird. It's like all women listening to this.
Oh,
Well, I have to get a pap smear and like everyone says that it's like so horrible and hurts, but like I've had two before and they didn't hurt. It wasn't uncomfortable at all for me. Like I felt completely fine. But then other people say like it's like the worst experience, like it's so not fun, like it's painful. I don't think it should be painful. I've had two before. I'm going to be fine, right?
you're fine. You're 100% fine. I actually like it doesn't hurt, but it kind of like aches, I guess, is like a weird thing.
Yeah.
And I remember the last time I went, I was like, "Do you take something like out of me? Like how does that work? Like why does it hurt?" And she was like, "No, it's just when you touch that part of you that your nerves like have a reaction."
Oh, weird.
It was like a nerve reaction. Like it's not
Yeah.
like I literally was like, "Okay, so you're like taking out a chunk of my skin right now." Like I was just like, "What
Yeah.
is going on for my body to feel that way?" And she was like, "No, you just like touch it and then the nerves
Yeah,
kind of
because it's
like,
just like a swab, I think.
yeah, yeah. You're fine. You'll be okay."
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
You're
needed
welcome.
that. But yeah, I'm trying to have like reoccurring guests, like just have my friends on. Like I don't always have to like find a new expert to interview. Like I just want to have good conversations like this. So this is definitely not the last time I will have you on and we can talk about more things.
So
We could literally talk for like 10 hours. So
yeah, I love that. Absolutely. I'm so
yeah.
excited. This is so fun.
Yeah, it's so fun, right? And
It's so fun.
well, my conversations with you is like really what's inspired a lot of this is just like the having fun again and just like posting what I want. And I actually, I showed you Simone Soul, right? The coach that I'm like obsessed with.
You might have.
Okay. I'll send her to you. Like she's my new obsession. Like James Wedmore was my obsession at one point. So if you like, again, we just have similar interests. So I feel like you'll like her. Um, what was she talking about? Oh, I'm taking like a copywriting course from her. And the lesson I was listening to today even like confirmed it even further. She's like, if you believe that people are just obsessed with whatever you do and whatever you talk about, like you are going to attract those people who are just obsessed with like whatever you want to do. And most of the creators that I listen to, I'm that way. Like they could literally talk about nothing and I would listen. And that's what I want to do. I just want to like talk about whatever.
Yeah. People are here like to see. That's what's interesting about, I don't even want to say this industry, but like kind of is like you can just be, you can literally just be yourself and people are like, yeah, I want to work with you specifically. I actually just
Yeah.
put up a TikTok about that this morning where I was
Really.
like, yeah, like you could be saying the exact same thing as everybody else is saying, but people want to hear it from you.
Yeah.
Like, there's one pick a card tarot reader on YouTube that I'm absolutely obsessed with, and she never posts anymore. I think she's like going through something, but she never posts anymore. She like never promotes her offers. She's really hard to get in contact with. She's really hard for me to spend my money on her, and I'm literally waiting there like, please God, open your doors so I can give you my fucking money because I love you and I don't want to pay anybody else, even though there's
Yeah.
10,000 other people who do the same thing. Like I want you.
Exactly.
Just because of her like vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what she was saying in this copywriting course. She's like, it's not about like what you write and like finding your ideal client and then looking for like what are the things that they struggle with and like writing to that. She's like, literally, if you just believe people are obsessed with you, like they will, and you just post your thoughts, post what you want, like that is the vibe. So
That's yeah.
that's my intention. That's what we're doing here.
Let's do it. Awesome. Glad to be a part of it.
Yes. Okay. Will you tell everyone where they can find you, and I'll put it in the show notes.
Cool. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Hood HOOD Winkler WINKLER. You can also go to my website hoodwinkler.com. I have lots of cool free webinars. If you click how to manifest, you can get in them. And that's it.
Beautiful. I love it. I love you so
Love you
much.
too. Thanks for having me. It was so fun.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for listening and hanging out. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.